making posts that make people say, what is she talking about? What is this? What does she have? Oh my gosh, I need it. So some really great things to do are posting pictures. So if you have a blender bottle, let me see if I can close mine. You have to be a He-Man to close these blender bottle lids, by the way. Post a picture of your blender bottle and say something like, 911, I've never felt this amazing in my entire freaking life. If you don't talk like that, don't say that, but that's how I talk. Something like that, or let me think. I've got some new promoters I was talking to this morning. I've never been this excited for the mailman to get here in my life. You know, hurry up, UPS driver, or something like that. Or I've never slept like this in my entire life. Where has this been all my life? Or guess what, guys? I freaking found it. So something that makes people say, what is she talking about? What in the world is this? Why hasn't she told me about it? I literally hate Ashley. Like, I have to message her and see why she's had this from me. But something I don't recommend is ever posting all the awesome benefits on the side of the box, all the ingredients, tons of information that you can get off the Pruvit Facebook page, anything you can get off the website. Even today, I don't do that, but definitely your first few posts need to be short and sweet, a couple of lines, if that. If you have a personal testimony, you've lost some fat, you've lost the dress size, best sleep ever, energy for days, you crushed a workout, you managed not to kill somebody at work today, things like that. So an awesome benefit that you can get personal with, or how you're really excited that it's coming to your doorstep any minute, a picture of you with your blender bottle, a picture of you with your packet, but don't word vomit on there. I know when you first get your Keto Max in the mail or your Keto OS, you're just so excited you can't stand it and you want to tell the whole world everything it possibly does, but it's too much information. So keep it short and sweet, keep it exciting, use exclamation marks and emojis and smiley faces, because let me tell you what will not ever sell anything. I have Keto OS. Who wants it? No one wants it. You are so boring. That was not exciting. No one wants to feel like that. You have to be really pumped up, really excited, really happy, and you have to attract people to your page. So short and sweet, create curiosity. We have some really good posts of people that they've made in the past that have got a lot of activity on Team Legend and Team Faith. So if you haven't seen those, get with your Champ upline and we can tag you in that so you can see some really good ideas. But definitely be original. Be fun, be exciting, use pictures, use emojis, use exclamation marks, and give your testimony if you have one. So that's my advice on your first few posts.
And I did not start recording until Ashley started to talk. So I may, when Jen figures out her speakers, I may make her go through that same example that we did with Keely, because I thought that was good. It worked out real nice that she had already started earning free product. Okay, Ashley, so thank you for those really great tips for how to be exciting and create curiosity. And for those of us who've been doing this for a little while, we can kind of have a separate conversation a little bit later about some things you can do to get back to that create curiosity phase, because I know that can be a struggle, a challenge for some of us. But let's talk about this. Okay, so you made your post. You said, oh my God, I can't wait for the mailman to get here. It says my internet connection is unstable. Am I losing you guys? Okay. I can't wait for my mailman to get here. I'm going to tackle him. Maybe you made a post that said, you guys, I found it, the cure to a grumpy teenage daughter. Okay, whatever your post was, that was actually one of my posts one day. Whatever your post was, now you've got people asking you, okay, I saw your post the other day that said you lost 5 pounds this month. What are you doing? You know, whatever it was. Now people are commenting. Tell me what it is. 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 Steven, I'm going to call on you. Since you guys got rid of a babe, it looks like he's no longer on your lap. Do you have signal? It may be Steven. Steven, I have all these people who are commenting on my thing. Tell me what it is. What is the mailman bringing to you? What is the mailman bringing to you? What do I do?
All right, awesome. So what you would do is you would literally private message everybody that comments under your post. Immediately private message them. You do not want to put, even in the comments, you don't want to put your website, just like Ashley said, do not word vomit on them. Like, make the curiosity still there. And one thing that I've found, like, if you go in and comment under or reply to a comment and say, hey, I messaged you, or I PM'd you, or I sent you a private message, the people that's commenting under that are going to want that same exact information. Like they may click on the post just to see if you posted a link. And when they click on that and they say, oh, they're sending out, something special to these people private message, like I want in on that. You know what I mean? So that really does work. So everybody that writes anything, reply. So what you do reply with them with is, you're not going to believe what I just found. Check out this short video for me and let me know what you think. And I always try to end it with, please let me know when you're through watching it, so that way I can get your feedback. Or if you have any questions, I'll be able to glad to answer those for you. And then you immediately send them your campfire video. That campfire video is going to do 99.9% of your work for you. You do not have to go in. You do not have to explain the ketosis. You do not have to explain ketones. You do not have to explain each product that we have. Their curiosity was piqued because of what you have found. Show them what you have found through the campfire video. So once the campfire video is sent to them and they watch it, you may want to give them, however long, 10, 15 minutes, maybe even the next day, depending on how, late in the day it is. But you want to follow up with those people. Hey, did you get a chance to watch that video? What did you think? Always ask a question at the end so that way they feel like they need to respond. And as soon as they respond and say, oh, I've heard about this ketones thing. Doesn't it kill you, or don't it give you this, or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like people will say that. You immediately pop them in another message thread with someone else. You get them connected with your enroller or with your champ upline and say, hey, Amy, this is my friend Ashley. She's been drinking ketones for way longer than I have, and she'll be able to glad to answer any of these questions that you have about the campfire video or about our product. Ashley, this is my friend Amy. She just watched the campfire video. She's got a question about what ketones can actually do for you. And you sit back and you watch all of the action unfold. Ashley's going to take over. Ashley's going to answer every question that they have. And you guys are going to sit back. You're going to take notes. You're going to kind of get an idea of how to explain this stuff to people in the future, way in the future. Because when we say connect, we mean that for a very long time. We still use the connect phase just because it is a play that works. So
Steven, I shouldn't take this thing that came with my experience pack and retype it up in a big long paragraph and start sending it out to everybody?
No.
No,
what
I
you
shouldn't
should
do that?
is
Okay.
You literally copy and paste your campfire video, experienceketo.com, your refer link .experienceketo.com. You say, look what I found, check it out, let me know when you're through watching it. Immediately send them that. Sit back and wait for them to watch it. Like again, I say try to follow up with them after a short period of time. Depending on the time of day, if it's late at night or whatever, you may want to follow up with them in the morning, because a lot of people, when they get a link, they may not look at it until the next day, and that's fine. But definitely want to follow up with them and say, hey guys, hey, did you get a chance to check out that video I sent over? It's amazing. Something like that.
And I think it's a really powerful thing that we kind of are working in a environment where everybody wants information and they want it like this, right? The reason why you don't regurgitate this entire thing is because we live in a world where people get their news from Twitter, where everything is written out in full detail in 150 characters or less. So it doesn't do us any good to word vomit on people. It doesn't do us any good to regurgitate information in print when we can A, give people really simple tools like the campfire video, and B, we're at a place like raise your hand if sometimes you want to stab yourself in the eye because people ask you a question that they could go find the answer to themselves. My kids do it every day, 965 times a day. So, and that's just my kids. And I deal with adults that do it too, right? And when I was a teacher and kids did it, and I was a manager and my employees did it, and I would be like, you are just coming to me because you know this is the fastest way to get the information and easier than you looking it up yourself. We can use that to our advantage, right? So if somebody wants an answer to a question, they do not care how they get it. They just want it fast. So it's super cool if you don't know what the answer is. Put someone else in the message for you because they don't want to wait for you to become the expert. They actually would prefer that you're not the expert.
One thing that I've found too is it builds your credibility with these people. Like if it's okay to say, I'm not sure, I'm brand new at this, let me get you connected to somebody that knows. That builds a personal relationship with those people. So that way they don't feel like that you're trying to be salesy or pushy by regurgitating all this information. You legit told them the 100% truth that I'm not sure. I have no clue. So I'm going to get you connected with Mandy. She'll be able to answer these questions for you.
Mm-hmm. And you're especially when you're brand new, and brand new doesn't just mean your first 30 days. Brand new is still so many of us. Your biggest and best customers and team members will be the people that you already know. They don't need you to be the expert. They don't want you to be the expert. They go see the movies you tell them to see. And I don't think anyone on this Zoom is a director or an actor. Well, maybe you are. I don't know. But I don't think that you've directed any films. But if you say this movie was great, they're going to go. They don't need you to be the expert. They just want your opinion. So you're pulling people in with excitement and curiosity. Let someone else be the expert. And I promise we're not experts, but we probably know more than you, so just use us. So that's a super, super important tool. It isn't weird. Raise your hand if you think it's weird or if you ever thought it was weird. I was a school teacher, so I asked you to raise your hand a lot. I require participation. I thought it was weird. I can't see everybody on screen two. You all just have your screensavers on, so we're just paying attention to screen one here. I thought it was weird. I was like, nobody wants me to put them in a message with other people, but it works, and it works for that reason that I talked about earlier. Nobody cares how they get the information. They just want it as fast as possible. And you hooking someone up with Steven is way better than them Googling the answer for multiple reasons, but the number one reason is because they are going to get their answer really, really quickly. So we've created some curiosity. We've shared our campfire video. We've connected to people. Here's the most important thing, and I think sometimes, guys, we forget to talk about this when we get together on these little meetings. Here's the most important thing. Are you ready to get started? That's the last thing you have to do. And I think we forget to remind people of that. So that's my biggest, I want to say challenge is in a good way. This is my biggest challenge to all of you. You create curiosity, you get them the campfire video, you connect them to someone to answer all their questions. And then have you ever felt like then nothing happens? I did all those things and nothing happens. So go back and look at those experiences or those connects that you did where nothing happened and look at the last thing you said to them if it's in text. Did you say, are you ready to get started? Or some version of that, right? If we don't ask people, the answer will always be no. If we don't ask people which flavor are you thinking about getting, they won't think of a flavor. If we don't say to people, are you ready to place an order today? Or it doesn't matter to me if you get started today or not, but Heart Tart's available and we don't know how long it's going to be. Praise, dear Lord, please tell me it's still available because I might order some more before I go to bed. My kids will not stop drinking it. So you have to ask for their business. And I think that's a really big thing that we forget to talk to you all about and that we forget to remind people to do. So you have to ask for their business. Ashley or Steven, is there anything else that we left off out of that, like watch, connect, and roll that we need to go over? Okay, so someone said, someone said it's still available. Christina, you checking at 3 doesn't help me at 5:23 p.m. Somebody check right now to see if it's still available. Okay, so let's talk about what happens in these situations when you've been here for a little while. And while I'm talking about that, I'd love it if you all could put questions that you'd like to have answered, either things that you've experienced, maybe you're brand new and you want to know, or you've got team members you're trying to help work through some stuff. Let's get some questions answered. But let's talk real quick about what happens if you've been here for a little while and it's getting harder and harder to use the connect phase. So if you've been here for longer than 120 days, raise your hand. Again, I'm not even going to bother scrolling because everyone on page 2 has their screensaver on. It can be a challenge sometimes to figure out when you connect someone, right? I feel like now it's like, oh, I've been here for a while. I probably shouldn't have to connect someone. But the connect phase is really important because, like Steven said, it validates you. It's not just you trying to sell somebody on something. It takes that salesy feeling out of it if you can connect someone else. So we're often very afraid of the connect, but the connect is actually what makes it better. So I don't know if anybody has a trick that they've been using that they'd love to share, but for me, what's been working is being honest and real with people and saying, hey, I've got a crazy day today, and I don't want your questions to go unanswered. So I'm going to go ahead and add Michael, my friend Michael, or I don't even say it ahead of time. I just add Michael and say, so I added my friend Michael to this chat. That way, at least one of us will see your questions whenever you ask, and you won't get left behind. And that has been working really, really, really well.
Something else I like to do, I do that also, but something else I like to do is maybe if I have a mom that I'm talking to and she's a potential, I'll say, hey, this is my friend Jessica. She's also a mom and she has mastered how to, take care of her babies from home and run a successful business. So think about who you're talking to and who you can connect them to that also has a relatable story. And if you lead into it that way, like, hey, I don't have kids, so I can't relate to that, but Jessica and Stephen are amazing at this, so let me connect you with them. So think about, like Mandy said, think of a way to transition it so it's not weird. And if you're not nervous and you don't overthink it and you just realize I'm introducing one friend to another friend, then it makes it a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And especially that it's really important to find a really good connection, right? For those of you who were on the huddle call the other day, and some of you may not because you're brand spanking new and you don't know what that is, we kind of talked about that, like matching the hat for people, right? Like if you had a promoter who spoke Spanish, you wouldn't put them in a message with someone who spoke Chinese. You would find people who spoke the same language. And that's really important in this business too. I don't really connect very well with people who love to work out because Jack has to drag me out of bed to go to the gym. I don't really want to do it. So talking to me about fitness, even though maybe I post that I'm at Orange Theory every day, when you connect someone with me, that's not the best fit. Like connect them with Jack. Jack loves to go to the gym. Jack knows how the product works as a pre-workout and a post-workout. Jack's done the research. Jack, that's the guy, not me. So finding the right connection is really important as well. I'm going through some of these questions. Stephen, I'm going to let you answer this one. Leslie asked, how do you approach people with the business? I'm going to let you talk about it on behalf of your wife because I'm obsessed with how she does it. Hi, Shugs.
Yeah, I just got out of the bath. Hairs look like a monster. So as far as connecting people to, what was the question? I'm sorry.
The question is, how do you approach people about the business? Like, how do you bring up the business?
In my opinion, you don't. You let somebody else do that for you. Again, you get them in a connection thing. But if you are messaging someone, maybe like a follow-up about, the product or whatever, a customer, hey, I'm not sure if you've seen what's been going on in my life, but I would like to share a little bit more information about, the business side of this if you're interested. Or since you're loving your ketones and I can see that you're getting your product for free, why not go ahead and start earning some commissions now after that? Something like that. Just something kind of simple. And then get them connected to someone else about the business opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. I don't really approach people like, hey, random stranger at the bank, have you thought about it?
No, let me explain, please. Oh, just that.
Super.
Yeah, that was super. Yeah. However, like Steven said, what we do often, and this is something I've taken from Jessica's verbiage, is just when I'm talking to people who are loving the product. Like someone messaged me today because, and this is being recorded, so I'm not going to go crazy in the medical stuff that she said, but she had stuff going on with her life. She's completely changed, and all of the people surrounding her complete change in life are completely convinced that everything she's done, including using our product, has been a life changer for her, a lifesaver for her, a game changer for her. This woman is obsessed and has something really miraculous going on in her life because of the use of this product. It would have been sinful of me to not say to her, oh my gosh, girl, this story is amazing. It's giving me goosebumps. Like, have you ever thought about sharing this product with everyone you know and love? Like, they've watched you get healthy. They've watched you get healthy. You could be so impactful on them. So now we're having a conversation about the business. And all she did was tell me that she was just my customer. So that's the way to bring up the business. Same thing. Okay, sorry, Leslie, go ahead. Were you going to ask a question, or did you accidentally unmute yourself? Oh, now she's frozen.
Can I add on to what Stephen was saying too? Stephen's approach is a little bit different than ours just because we're women, I think, too. So I want to say that when I first started, I was probably a little more comfortable doing what I'm getting ready to tell you guys to do, and it's something that I'm constantly working on now. But so you're first getting started, and so maybe you don't have a ton of customers on the product. You don't have a huge income testimony, but something you could say is, hey, girl, reach out to your friend Jana and say, I'm just getting started with this really cool opportunity I just found. I'm loving it so far. I would love for you to do this with me. I think we could build something really crazy, really awesome. I don't have anyone in your area. I think we could be amazing together. You don't have a lot of information to give because you just got started. That's a great time to go ahead and connect them with somebody else, but just ask them if they would be interested in doing it with you. But something that I'm doing now is maybe I have someone that I have in mind and I haven't reached out to them yet, or they're not a customer. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to try to build a relationship with them. So they're on my Facebook, so I probably know them from somewhere. We've connected at some point. We just maybe haven't connected in a while. So I'll start slowly liking their post. I won't turn into a stage 5 clinger and go through their Facebook posts and like and comment on everything, but I will do a few over the next couple of weeks until I have a chance to comment or reach out and say, hey, I just noticed you came back from Disney World. Did you have the best time ever? I bet the weather was perfect. I'm so jealous, or something like that. So start a conversation, go back and forth in the conversation a few times, and then say something if you want to, not necessarily in that same conversation, but go back to it and say something like, Jana, I've noticed your posts. You always have the best attitude. You have such a great personality. I love keeping up with you and your family. I know you have a couple of children and activities and sports and stuff, and I know that's super expensive. Have you ever considered an opportunity like Pruvit? I don't know if you've noticed, but I've had the best year of my life. I'm super excited for what we have going on. I'd love to give you some more information. Are you open just to hearing more about it? You don't have to make it spammy, salesy. It's not a copy and paste. I actually don't even recommend sending a copy and paste to anybody because their situation's always going to be different, and you want to have that conversation with them leading up to that so they know you're real and you're not just reaching out to them to fill some end of the month numbers or a quota. So definitely make it personal and have a conversation with them, but make it about them, not just about you. But hey, I think you are great. I think you have a great personality. You seem so positive and fun, and I know you have a few children and whatever, but make it about them. And I think you'll be really good at this. Would you be open just to hearing some more information? And then if they say yes, if it's a mom that I think, would be a really great match with Mandy, I would reach out and connect them with Mandy. If it's a dad that I think would be really great, I would connect them with Steven. So just depend on who they are. Then you'll use the connect phase. But connection is so important after they say sure. Most of the time, people are not going to say no, especially if you approach them in a way that makes them feel comfortable. And if they do say no, guess what? You've got some really good practice and you can move on to the next person. But I wouldn't just cold message someone and say, hey, do you want to join my team? I don't even know what that means. It's so scary. So just pay attention to what you say, and then just get really comfortable with talking to new people. And then once you get comfortable talking to new people every single day, the conversation of the opportunity will be easier to have.
And I love that, Ashley. And I think another great way, when people are thinking, well, who do I ask? Who do I talk to? Who is the right person to have a conversation about this opportunity with? For those of you who are brand new, make a mental note, because as your customer list grows, this is a tool that you will have at your fingertips. For those of you that have been here for a little while, I would love it if you would take an opportunity sometime towards the end of the month. Is probably a really great time to do it. And take a look at all the people who had a SmartShip order. So if you go into your insights and pull up all the orders and you look at everyone who is a customer on SmartShip, you can even see how many of them are paying for theirs, because if there's a BV amount, it means they don't have Pruvit bucks. So that is a list. That is Pruvit handing you a list of people who love the product and purchase it every single month without any financial benefit to themselves whatsoever. Those are the perfect people to reach out and say, and then you can really even pull up their name and look at how many times they have had a SmartShip order. If you have a customer that's been smart shipping for 5 or 6 months, hello, we need to have a conversation with them that says, hey, Steven, oh my gosh, I noticed you've been ordering 2 boxes of Keto Max every single month for the past 6 months. You must be in love. How are you feeling? Do you love the product? Tell me what your favorite benefits are. That exact same thing that I just did to Keely. We're going to let Steven reply to me and say, oh my gosh, yes, you have no idea. Like, I can play with my kids. I'm not tired after work anymore. It's been life-changing for me. Okay, that's incredible. Like, I have a super serious question for you. Do you know anyone else in your life who could benefit from that? Like, let's work on getting you your product for free. That is a business conversation without having a business conversation. And it's valuable not just because you might turn Steven into a promoter, but because, and I'm sorry, this is where I get super fired up. Like, we have the kind of product where it's not okay to play small. Right? I actually think I offended someone on an earlier Zoom because she may or may not sell makeup and ketones. But we don't, like, if I'm scared about, like, if I sell makeup and I'm afraid to have that conversation with somebody, I'm not going to not change someone's life today because they don't have eyeshadow. But if I don't have that conversation with Steven, who's been smart shipping 2 boxes of Keto Max for the past 6 months, I'm playing small. And I might not be the catalyst in what changes 6 guys that he works with, right? Or his aunt who might need the product. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have something really powerful and really different. So sorry, now I'm all like blood pressure's up. But that's just,
can I add on to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So something else that's really great, SmartShip customer is a huge cue for you to reach out to that person. But something else, if you have a customer that has a good testimony, whether it's sleep, mental focus, energy, they're going to the gym, they've lost some fat, they've lost some dress sizes, you know, whatever is happening for them, challenge them to make a post on Facebook, give them something for free, but make a post on Facebook about their testimony, short and sweet, kind of what we talked about in the beginning, tag you in it, and then just see what happens. If they get tons of responses, there's an opportunity conversation. Like, that's someone that you need to immediately pull into a conversation with one of us, your champ upline or whatever, and just say, hey, look what you just did. Like, why in the world would you send all these people to me when you could get all this credit? You can get free product, you can get some income, we can knock out some crazy bonuses, we can do tons of things. So give people the chance to see that they could do this, because let's be honest, probably before you joined Pruvit as a prover, you probably had that thought in your head, I can't do this. I can't be successful at this. I've never sold anything before. I'm never going to be good at this. But when you get started and you realize that you're not selling, you're sharing how you feel and you're helping other people feel better, you realize you can do this. So give someone the chance to see how good they could be at it. So if I ever have a customer with a great testimony, I'm like, I'm going to give you anything to get you to post that on Facebook. Just if they're not interested, then I get the customers and I get the referrals and their contacts, but at least see what happens for them. So that's a really good tip. If you're just kind of afraid to start that conversation, let them see what happens and then go from there.
And I would say always, like, you can never assume someone's situation, literally. Like, people's going to put on their Facebook all of the fun stuff that's going on in their lives. They're not putting that I'm in a financial burden. I'm stressed to the max because I can't make my car payment this month. Like, they're not putting that stuff on Facebook. So never assume that everybody's life is all hunky-dory like it is on Facebook. Because if it wasn't for Mandy Mitchell reaching out to us, letting us know, like, hey, I think I've got something awesome here, you need to check it out, she wouldn't have known. Like, she literally just reached out to us because we didn't put that type of situation on Facebook. And people don't do that. They will not put that information on Facebook. So never assume that, and always assume that everyone needs something like this in their life. And that's another way, to kind of get into your mindset and the confidence in yourself to actually reach out to people. You're not being salesy, you're not being pushy. You literally can change their financial situation, no matter their financial situation.
And I think it's important to remember too that some people probably do put that stuff out on Facebook, but they're not the people who will typically bite at something like this. They're already so defeated and so negative and so in their own way that's why they've gone to Facebook, because they just want people to say, oh, it's fine, girl, you're going to be great one day. I think you're amazing. Or they want to have a list of people who say, I've got those same problems. So the reality is the people who are most likely in need of this opportunity are the people who aren't saying anything. And they're also the people who are most likely to do something about it. So we could go on like a whole Zoom about how to get new people to join your team, but let's real quick, because this always comes up when we don't talk about it. Let's talk about how to get a bigger reach on social media. I know a lot of us are using social media as a platform to grow our business. We talk to people, Jack and I talk to people every single day out in public, but you just can't, there's not enough manpower. There aren't enough hours in the day to reach the number of people that you can reach through this platform. So are you all open to a few minutes on tips and tricks on how to grow your audience on social media? Yes. Okay. So this is another big soapbox of mine. And if someone hop in and shut me up if I go too crazy, or if you have something awesome that you want to say. But the reality of Facebook in particular, where most of us probably are growing a business, is that very few people will inherently see your posts. Okay, Christina, and we'll touch base on this as well. So a lot of people don't see your posts. So if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook and you make a post, 1,000 people don't see your post. The reality is, and I can break this down in this way, it makes the most sense for me. If you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, 500 of them just created their Facebook page because at one point they were curious who was going to their 20th reunion, or they wanted to check out an old boyfriend, but they don't really use it, right? Or you're like my husband, whose original Facebook account was created for the sole purpose that I could tag him in pictures. There was no other reason than I wanted the satisfaction of tagging his name, like you aren't a real person if I can't tag you. That was my mentality. So that's the only reason why he ever even had a Facebook page. So for years and years and years and years and years, Jack would be somebody who might be on your friends list but never see anything you post. About half of your Facebook friends are like that. So now let's take the 500 that might actually use Facebook. About half of those people hop on once a month or once a week, probably not seeing your posts. About half of those people will hop on every day, but they're hopping on at about the same times every day. They're scrolling as something to read while they're having their morning cup of coffee. Maybe they're scrolling through their lunch break so they don't have to talk to their coworkers. Maybe it's the last thing they do before they go to bed at night just to shut down. They're not really engaged. So now we've gone from 1,000 to 500 to 250 to 125. And out of those 125, half of those are on Facebook at the same time as you are. Half of those give a rip about what you're posting. Half of those people are brave enough to talk to you about it. So, we're at a point where 1,000 Facebook friends really equates to about 10 to 20 people who may actually do something with the information that you share. So that's not meant to discourage you. It's meant to help you create an awareness so that you can get your friends more involved and so that you understand the importance of growing your network. So growing your network is, I would say, my biggest tip right off the bat. Grow your network, change your network, grow your network, change your network. Like, fill it. If you don't have 5,000 friends, you aren't done. People will often ask me, well, I don't want to just go and friend a bunch of strangers. I'm not asking you to friend a bunch of strangers. But at some point, you have to make a decision, right? Not everybody wants to do something big. Some people just want to make a couple extra $100 a month. That's cool. If you want to do something big, if you think you want to build an income, if you think you want a couple $1,000s a month or more, your network on Facebook is going to help you accomplish that. So at some point, you're just going to have to say, I got to grow this network, and it might not matter if I went to high school with them and they sat behind me in Spanish class. Like, I got to get bigger than that. So here's how I started growing my network. My friends' friends, my mom's friends, my dad's friends, my sister's friends, my brother's friends, my cousin's friends, all the people I went to high school with, all the people I went to college with. I am friends with girls on Facebook that I really would have never wanted to have a conversation with in high school. Or maybe they wouldn't have wanted to have a conversation with me. I actually wasn't super cool in high school. So these are people that I would have been like, no, thank you. But I'm friends with them now. A, we're all grown up, so we're over it. But B, I'm extending my network, right? So people I went to college with, people Jack went to high school with, like, hey, dude, if you're not going to reach out and connect with all these girls that you went to high school with, I will, because I bet you we could relate, right? Or I'll be able to share ketones with them, or whatever the case may be. So I sent friend requests that way. I'm also really passionate about 3 other things besides Keto Max and my family. My dogs. So I have 2 chocolate labs, wine, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I am in groups that correlate with those things that I like. I actually also just joined a keto group. I'm not in a lot of keto groups, to be frank, but I just joined one. So I interact with those people. When someone posts a picture of their dog, oh my God, my dog does the same thing. Blah, here's a picture of my dog. Then when I send them a friend request, you guys, that's not weird. They have a lab, I have a lab. Inherently, it means we're both 2 of the most amazing people on the planet. I've already interacted with them. They've already interacted with me. It's not weird. They accept my friend request. That means I have an opportunity for them to see my feed later down the road. Same thing with people in my Pittsburgh Steelers. Now listen, some of those people are crazy. We all know every team has fanatics, and you really are terrified of them, and you shouldn't be friends with them. Okay, be a good judge of character. Don't send a friend request to those people, but interact with them, right? Like, oh, I found out there's people who live by me who are Steelers fans. So I talk with them on Facebook. After a few interactions, I send them a friend request, and now we're Facebook friends. Same thing in the wine group, right? So find things that you enjoy about life and connect with people who have those same enjoyments. Your community probably has a Facebook page. Your neighborhood probably has a Facebook page. Your kids' sports teams, like you can those are your connections. Those are your network. And if you're not going to have a conversation with every mom on your kids' softball team, then connect with them on social media so they see what you're doing, right? So that's my biggest tip for growing your network. And I would say don't stop until you've reached that 5,000 mark. And then go through and delete people, like you have friends, I'm sure, and we'll get to this in a minute because I have to get off of here in like 10 minutes. You have friends, I'm sure, because here's another great tool we're going to talk about too, is using like saying happy birthday to people. So we talk about growing your network, and that's great. Grow your network. But if you're not going to interact with your network, it's not going to matter. There's algorithms on Facebook that say, I'm going to show you who you want to talk to. Facebook will dictate who you see and who sees you based off of your interactions with them. So one way to make sure that you are interacting with every single person in your network is to wish them a happy birthday. Facebook tells you whose birthday it is today. So today I had like 26 people with a birthday. Insane. It was the biggest day in a long time. Well, before I send them a message, and that's the key, I send them a message. I don't put it on their wall because that gets buried and they'll never interact with it. But if I send them a message and say, hey, Ashley, I saw it was your birthday today. I hope you're having a great day. Sometimes I do it voice. That's why I did it like this. Sometimes I do a voice message. Sometimes I type it up. Ashley's more likely to respond to me than if it's on her wall with her 400 other friends who said happy birthday, right? So I want there to be an interaction. If I say happy birthday to Ashley, she's going to say thank you back, and I can say, I hope you have a fabulous day. Did you do anything cool? I can create some connections, and then that algorithm increases, and Ashley will start to see my posts. But before I say happy birthday to Ashley, I check out her Facebook page. If the last time there was any activity on her Facebook page was February 15th, 2016, I'm deleting Ashley. Like, sorry, boo, you're not on Facebook, so you're not a potential customer for me. That's wasted, valuable real estate that I could be adding somebody else who might actually be a potential customer. So I'm going to look at Ashley's page before I send her a message and see if there's value in her being in my space. And if not, I'm going to remove her. That's a one less person Facebook has to filter for me, and I can add someone in who I might have more content with. I'm getting questions over here, and I see someone raising their hand. I see Letitia's raising her hand, and she has a question. So you're very excited about your question. I'm going to let you ask it.
Thank you, because I can't figure out how the hell to type in a question. I'm sorry.
We're all human. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. But I have a lot of new promoters under me, and I actually have a couple on here. We're messaging back and forth. My question is, I'm not real experienced at the GoPro and MVP. Mine, I don't know what happened. I just did mine in like 48 hours, and I really wasn't keeping track of points. I didn't know that. I'm under Coco down here in South Texas. And
on that fast MVP.
Yes, thank you. It just, share the passion, and it was awesome. My question is, since mine under me, I have a lot of promoters and a lot that signed up about the same time. On tracking the points, just so I can clarify, I have a lot of them hitting GoPros and MVPs, and I have some on here. Their personal volume does not count towards their team volume. Is that correct?
For the bonuses, whatever purchases we make personally, they do not count towards the bonus. Our personal purchases count towards group volume for things like your rank, but not
rank only. Okay. Thank you. We're having difficulties figuring that out, but thank you.
You can stick any of them in a message with us, and we can help with that too.
Yes. Is there just one other question? Because they're asking me, is there a breakdown of these points, or a breakdown of like what counts in GoPro, and like Stephen and Jessica helped me a lot, and it was like yourself and your first level, yourself and your first, second, third level when we were at Epic. Is there some kind of form or that I could share with them?
Yeah, so what's really cool, and maybe Stephen can answer this since he's already working with you guys, but we have a ton of tools that will help explain that for you. The actual tracker for GoPro, like every order that comes into your business will move the bar, so you'll know where it's falling, right? For most of us going for GoPro and Go MVP, we haven't built levels 1, 2, and 3. We've built level 1 and maybe 2. So personally, I don't think that knowing where your team volume or where your group volume falls is super important for GoPro and Go MVP, but for ranking it is. And then if your question is about what does each product do, like how you get the points, yes, we have a chart for that, so we can get that to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Ashley or Stephen, did you guys have any other I probably missed some social media stuff that helps people stay engaged, because I'm reading these questions.
I know somebody asked on here, I think it was Leslie, how do you keep up with the people that you engage with on Facebook? Like once you like and comment on their stuff, there's actually a feature on Facebook. I'm not sure if you guys were aware of this, but if you go to, I'm trying to find it. I just saw it a while ago. I think if you go to Explore underneath like all your groups and stuff, and Explore, and then Feeds, it actually gives you the most recent. It gives you the acquaintances, close friends, family, like your town area where you're from, anybody that you've come in contact with from your work and stuff like that. Like it'll literally show you everybody, and you can actually add people to those groups as well. So if you do have contacts that you're trying to strategically like go and comment and like and stuff on their page, like it'll show up in one of those feeds as well. So you'll just go to feeds and it'll show you all of those people, so that way you should be able to keep up with it a lot better.
And if you're like me and the idea of throwing people into group messages and sorting my 5,000 friends makes you want to throw up. That's a brilliant idea. And I started to write it down. And then as you explained it to me, I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't work for my personality. My easiest way is to always ask a question. So when I interact with somebody, I always ask a question so that if they're not Scrooge, they will answer back. So I say things like, oh my gosh, like Ashley said, oh my gosh, did you have the best time ever? Right? Like someone's going to reply to that. Oh my gosh, that picture is gorgeous. Where was that taken? Someone's going to reply to that. Oh, your makeup looks amazing in this photograph. Did you have it done somewhere? Like they'll reply to that, compliment them and ask a question.
Something else I do is like, I'm at the place in my business where I'm trying to find new people constantly, which in the beginning, it's not that I wasn't trying to find new people. It was just, it was so new that so many people were coming to me without me having to do as much searching as I am now. So what I'm doing now is what Steven said is wonderful. However, like Mandy said, unorganized queen of the world. I will never remember that, and I will never go look at that list, and I don't remember what he even said now. So it would be pointless for me to write that down. But something that I do is I'm visual. So if I see it, then I'm going to do it. So I have a notebook. I have like 1,200 of these all over the house if I have a thought. But I have a notebook that I keep by my computer. And like I said earlier, I'm trying to build relationships and reach out to new people and go through and like and comment on their posts and stuff. So I'll pick a few people that I think would be great. So I'm not looking for negative Nancy's and people that are all the time posting pictures of cake, and nothing wrong with cake. I can get down with some birthday cake too. But if someone's on their Facebook all the time just throwing up all this negativity and horrible and starting debates and just blah, 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 I can't deal with it. But if it's someone that seems like they'd be really great here, I love their personality, they seem like a go-getter, I really want to grab a hold of them, I'm going to make a list of like 5 or 10 people, and I'm really going to focus on them for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And so then I'm going to go back and I'm going to make notes. Like I went and reached out to this girl, or I liked her post, or she said this back to me, or, you know, just try to interact with them and make a mental note of it, because I'm building a relationship with that person in the hopes that they're going to be my next rock star promoter. So if I don't write them down, I'm not going to remember that. And that's just something that works for me. And it started to really work for me the past few months. So that's something I've been doing, and I like to see it. I like to know, hey, I did reach out to her 3 days ago, or, you know, she went on a vacation and is going to get back with me. So I'm keeping a notebook of that kind of stuff. And that's what works for me right now.
That's a great tip. I love it. For those of you who've been here for a little while too, a really helpful tip to gain some new perspective and get some interactions going with people that you haven't interacted with in a while is to use the take a break feature. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you can hover over somebody's profile in their feed, like there's a little arrow when you're looking in your feed, and you can take a break from them. So it's probably something I need to go through and do right now, because I'm at a place where I open up my feed, and if I had time to scroll, all I would see is Pruvit. And I got to tell you what, that's an incredible blessing. It means I have connected to a lot of people, and the ripple effect of what our team is doing is huge. And Pruvit people are some of the most positive, motivational, excited about life people I've ever been connected with. So I am fired up every time I look at my newsfeed, because I don't see negativity and I don't see grump. However, what that also means is that only Pruvit people see me. So am I going to grow my business with a post about, oh my God, I can't wait for the mailman to get here, if 99.9% of the people who see my posts know why I'm excited about the mailman? Like every once in a while, Ashley will throw me for a loop, and she'll say, oh my God, my favorite product is on sale ever. And for a split second, I'll be like, did she find a new makeup I need to know about? And then I'm like, oh, no, it's ketones, right? Like I know why she's posting that. And so that happens to me in my feed. And if you are at a place in your business where you scroll through Facebook and all you see is Pruvit, ketones, it's time to take a break. You don't have to unfriend people. You don't have to unfollow them, but you can select take a break. And for 30 days, Facebook will remove that person from your feed. So I have a handful of people like 24 people who I love being connected with, and I have them marked as favorite, so I always see them in my feed. But then I'll go through and start taking a break from people, and I'll take a break from as many Pruvit people as possible. And then I wake up the next day, and it's like I have a whole new list of friends. Now, fair warning, they're all miserable and depressed and grumpy, and they hate their jobs, and Monday sucks, and everyone's tired and sick. But I have all those people to introduce to ketones now, right? Now I have this whole new audience. If I'm seeing them for the first time, they're seeing me for the first time. So I can interact with them. I can comment. I can try to find something good that they've posted in the past week and comment on that. So that can be a really helpful tool if you do already have a large network of people on social media. That can help you connect to new people. What else? We start out with this is how to launch, and then we end up talking about everything because we have such a mix of people who hop on and need so many different things. So I'm always cool with that if you guys are cool with it, but I want to make sure that if you had a specific question that it got answered. Because now we've been on for an hour, even though I lied and said we weren't.
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I'm going to always give, not only to myself, but everybody, staying connected. And that means so many things. The Pruvit Pulse app, that is so huge. Every new promoter should immediately download that. So if that's something that we always do, it'll just be second nature. And we should check it several times a day. If it doesn't work, email support, get with your champ upline, and we can help you figure out what's happening with it. But that is your lifeline. That's going to be everything Pruvit related. Anything that we want to share with you, Pruvit wants to share with you, Brian Underwood, anyone at all, you're going to get updated through that. And then, guys, these Zooms are so important. So this is an example. I've been doing this with Mandy and Steven for 15 or 16 months now. You would think, I know this stuff. I've heard it a million times. I say it all day long. But I get just as fired up, and I still take notes on these things because I'm always going to hear it at a different time in my business where maybe it clicks or makes a little bit more sense to me. So never feel like you're immune to hearing this information. And something else, as you want to grow your business and you want to step it up in this industry and you want to make this the biggest opportunity for your family ever, what you do is what your people are going to do. So if you're present on the Zooms and you're present on our team pages and you're present in the group messages and you stay connected, then your people are also going to stay connected. They're going to do those things too. So I just want to make sure that if we all work together and we try to work closely and we do our best to stay connected to each other, that it's just always going to be great. I know life is crazy and things happen and things come up, but do your very best to be present and connected, and I promise it'll pay off in a big way.
And yes, I 100% agree. I have notes that I took. I always learn something. Steven, I did take a little bit of a note about what you said, but I probably won't do it.
Okay, I'm used to that. Trust me.
I wish I was Steven. Y'all, literally, I message Steven so many times a day. Steven, because I lied to you the last 700 times I asked you this and I didn't save it. Can you tell me one more time where to find this piece of information? Like, Steven is so organized. I'm in love with him, even though he's my bestie's husband. I don't know what I'll do without him.
And it's very true. He has everything on hand. And I asked him for a video today that I've asked him 4 or 5 times also. And I for real legit saved it. So this time it's saved and I will never ask you for it again. Kristen, I don't know the answer to your question. So I can't help you with that. I have no idea. I know that in between our team and the company, there's like 3 people. So, but I don't know how many lines there are. Probably a lot. That doesn't mean every single one of them is doing something, but that's
I was just curious because my chiropractor is on a different line and there's somebody else in town that I was friends with from high school, and I was just curious if there was other lines coming, like past Michael, then down to like you guys. And
yeah, Michael is direct to company, but there are like 5 people who are direct to company. So there are, I guess to answer your question, then there are probably 5 or 6 lines of people that we are not connected to in any way, shape, or form. And if I could say one thing about that before we hop off of here, and that's another, like, literally we need to just have a 3-hour Zoom and I should dedicate each hour to my 3 top soapboxes. Here is one of my soapboxes. This happens to me all the time where I live, Kristen. I live in this teeny freaking town. I'm having a mixer tonight where I am literally shaking up all the teas, the broths, keto, like heart tart, purple rain, all the flavors, okay? And I can only get 10 people here. So let's just talk about that. That's a whole different issue. But I live in this teeny tiny town, right? And I run into people all the time who are like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I buy it from so-and-so. And that's somebody not in our team. So there are two reasons why I am fired the freak up and refuse to play small. There are two main reasons why I will not shut up about this product, and I will not stop until every person I know is drinking it. And one is because of that concept earlier where it's like, I can't play small because I know we have something that's life-changing, right? Like, I can't be quiet. It is not fair for me to be quiet. I am withholding something life-changing from somebody else. But I also can't be quiet because, let me just be frank with you, it is not okay with me that the guy who fixed my cable last week is ordering ketones from somebody else. That's not okay with me. Like, I'm not greedy, but if people in my town are drinking ketones, I want that to be my business, not somebody else's. So, like, if you have a chiropractor in your town and he's in someone else's line, if I were you, I'd be 10 times louder. I would be 10 times braver. I would be 10 times more vocal, because if you don't introduce people to ketones, he will. That is how I message every single day.
I sent 5 messages out tonight before the Zoom to 5 new chiropractors in the area where I live because I got so fired up this afternoon from the huddle call.
Yeah, see? And it's like, if it's not you, it's going to be him. So it might as well be you. Right? That's how I feel. Like, this conversation is getting bigger, you guys. It is getting huge. Not only do people recognize our brand and who we are and what we're doing, whereas a year ago, that was not the case. People know who we are, and so the conversation is getting bigger. But on top of that, people are trying to throw their hat into the ring with inferior products who don't do anything for anybody. So it's like, I'm reaching a place where I'm going to have a third level of why I won't be quiet, and it's because I don't want someone to go buy something else that's sprinkled with ketones that don't match your body and they won't have any results. That's really not fair. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this level of, yeah, we're all on this Zoom because we want to grow a big business, but first and foremost, like, we should all be on here looking for opportunities to spread the word because we have something powerful and we want to change people's lives. Like, and if we don't do it, someone else will. And not only someone else may be inside of Pruvit, but somebody who's offering them something that's crap. Like, it's not okay. Okay, there we go. Soapbox number 3. We covered them all in 65 minutes. All right, you guys, I love you all so much, but I have people coming over. I thought it started at 6, and then Jack reminded me it's at 6:30. So in 23 minutes, I have people coming over, and I have to go help set up. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to close this out. Ashley or Steven, do you have anything else that we forgot or need to add that's super important before we hop off? No? Okay. Christina Peterson, you asked me a question earlier and I didn't answer it, but I'm going to see you in 23 minutes. So I'll just go over it then. All right. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Have a really good night. I'll get this recording up hopefully tomorrow morning.